Hey guys, welcome back. In this video we're going to look at the Vicon 802, also known as the Vicon Wagtail. The problem we're having with it is the bearing way off inside here has failed. So in the last video you saw we fixed the hopper, so now we're going to fix the bearing underneath, and obviously we paint it as well. So how does the tail here at the back move back and forth? So the PTO turns the power shaft. Power shaft turns the flywheel, which is turning around. At the bottom of the flywheel there's a bearing with a wishbone connected to it. That wishbone is then moving back and forth like that, and that's what makes the wagtail, or the tail back here, move back and forth like that as well. So we're going to have a look at it and see which bearing has failed. So the first step is to remove the hopper. So remove the two rubber ties, that side and the one on the opposite side. We'll remove the hopper now and turn the whole lot upside down. Okay, behind this there's a little circlip and then there's a cover, so after tapping that down, what we did was we put a tire underneath it, removed the clip, and then gently just tapped it down with a hammer. Then the whole wagtail at the bottom, you can see it there, fell out. On the PTO side of the flywheel there's two 13mm bolts which we need to be removed. That'll remove the cap, and behind the cap there's a spring. So on the back of the flywheel is the bearing that went bad. So just inside here we have the old race out of the bearing and we can't get it out. There's absolutely nowhere to hit it from. So we had to drill a little hole in the back, and I ended up using the welder and welded, not all of it, but a good bit of it away around. And as the metal shrank, it actually pulled the bearing in, or the outer race in, and now I can just tap it with a hammer and release it. So you can see it's just coming out there now, and you can see how much I've after walking it out just there now. You can see my little hole just there where I had to hit it to get the bearing out. This is all going to be full of grease anyway, so it won't make any difference. Now on to painting. So I wanted a spirit-based red paint, and the only colour I could get was cardinal red. It's close enough to being the original colour. It isn't that nice bright red that Vicon would have had, but it's the only one that was spirit based, where all the rest of the paints I could find were water based. I just thought, just for this application, it needs to be maybe a harder paint, so that's why we went with the spirit based paint. But overall I'm really happy with the results. It looks fantastic. Now on to the rebuild. The bearing we're using is a 1335 and a 1350, and we will need two of them to support the wagtail assembly. The two bearings were now tapped into the bottom of the frame. Now we can start putting everything back together to allow the wagtail to fit back into the frame. This side here, you had to take it off to get the bearing out from behind this, which was the one in here behind the wishbone. So the spring, and this goes in first, tap that down, and then the cover plate with two brand new nuts go on top. It's a pain in the arse to do, but it is doable. Very importantly, don't forget this little seal, this little cover that goes on top of the bearings. And the new bearing has been tapped into that flywheel. The bearing is an open bearing, but there is a cover that goes on the face of it so it stops dirt getting in. Now lining everything up, the wagtail fits back into the frame and is mounted into the bearings. Next I bought a brand new aperture plate, which is the on-off for the fertilizer coming in and out. At the start I didn't think I needed it, but it's absolutely worthwhile buying. So it has all the numbers and everything is brand new, so it's nice and tight. At the end of the power shaft going into the flywheel, there's a bolt just there, and if you do replace it, it has to be a high tensile bolt. Now that everything is being replaced and it's all back together again, let's have a look how it turned out. So that's it now, all painted up in a lovely cardinal red colour, and it's all back together again with new bearings in it. So if you like this type of content, give it a thumbs up, subscribe over there, and as always guys, thanks for watching, see you later.